Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chad's Coffee Hour, Season 1, Episode 1, so to speak. Today's guest, we have a good friend of mine and known him for quite a while, Donnie Monroe. Um, he got me kind of, he got me, he perfected my hunting skills. I wasn't too good before, but he got me tuned in back when he was around this area. So, Donnie, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Glad to be here. That was a long time ago too when we did
That
that. Get
that was a
started.
long time ago, but I'll never forget that because I had a PSE, and I had a draw length that's like 27 inches or something, I think it was, and you just got a new little cam in there and got it down just about a quarter of an inch, and that made a drastic difference in the accuracy, and I wouldn't think it would, but it really did. It shocked me how much of a difference that little bit of adjustment made.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of people don't realize like just the minute amount can make all the difference in the world. As far as how you hold and just how the bow feels, the draw cycle, everything.
Right, it's not like it's not like you just get a fishing pole, you can just throw it out there, but, it's more custom, more personalized. I don't think, if you're just getting started out, I honestly think that, yeah, you're not gonna probably have much money to buy the best, but I think it's important to get one that's gonna fit you well because if you go out there with the bad equipment, that's without anything, and it's not working, you're probably not gonna stick with it. You're gonna think, "This isn't that good, this isn't for me," and you may miss out on a lot of things, so.
Yeah, the key is to find somebody
Hmm.
that's reputable, knows what they're doing, and you don't
Right.
have to buy the most expensive, but getting whatever you can afford to actually custom fit you makes a huge difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're from originally from Indiana, like that's where I'm at right now, and you had a business, Hunter's Haven. Now, do you still do anything with that online or where you're at now?
No, we my wife and I ran that for a little over 20 years. I grew
Wow.
up in Matthews, Indiana, and we started it there, and then moved out in the country and upland, and moved it out there. But yeah, we had it for over 20 years, and
Yeah,
kind of hard to believe it
that
was
was
that long.
pretty nice. I mean, it was a nice little store. Like you said, you had everything out there. I like going out there, and it's always nice to support the local person instead of everything being Amazon or wherever you get the stuff for nowadays.
Yeah, and we focused, really on just each individual, no matter what they would spend. We treated everybody the way we wanted to be treated, and took the extra time to make sure everything was set up properly. And um, might not be the best business case because I know a lot of times they want to sell, 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 and get it in,
Right.
get it out. I just don't believe in that, and
I
it's a
agree.
lot different shooting a bow compared to a gun, and just slapping a scope on and you can be fairly decent with it. But yeah, it's something else. And did that on the side, worked full time, and it was pretty much minimum of about 75 hours a week. So 20
Yeah.
years of that pretty much was enough for me. And that's
Right. Had it been full
kind of
time, may have been different, but yeah, that is
yeah,
a lot of your time gone. Yeah.
yeah, for
So
sure.
now, do you still have any more business relations with any of those companies anymore?
I still know some people, some of my reps, still kind
Okay.
of keep in touch with some of them. And then since then have created new relationships, through the hunting industry. And so I've been in the hunting industry for one way or another for over 30 years.
I was to say, yeah, a long time, even before you had the store, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as far as like, going to the ATA, show back in the day to, doing filming for White Knuckle Productions, Team 200 TV, and being on the Pursuit Channel, Waypoint TV, YouTube, if and just all the deer turkey shows we used to do, and yeah, it's it kind of really intertwined in that industry for a long time, and have
Yeah,
enjoyed
you
it.
yeah, you did a lot down there in Indianapolis, didn't you? Go down there to the state fairgrounds, do that boat sport travel weekend with the deer hunters weekend, whatever it was.
Yep, yep, we did that,
Yeah.
and really kind of helped take that to the next level. We used to have like
And
8 booth spaces and carpet, and it was pretty remarkable. We did really
yeah,
well.
it is so busy on that weekend. That was unreal how much. Now I think they changed a little bit. I think they maybe added another day or so during the week, which they needed to, because it was always just so busy. You know, the people
Yeah.
there, amount of traffic in that area is pretty. If you didn't like to be around crowds, you wouldn't want to be around there. But
No, it was chaos at times. I mean, it was that's why one reason we got so many booths, just to create more space to pull more people into, and
right,
give them an opportunity to stand and talk to us and
yeah,
open it up. Because in the aisles, yeah, it was just packed. It was,
yeah, you'd have to get back there to be able to look at the bow or whatever you're looking at. Like I said, yeah, you'd be like this. Hey, I'm going to try to look at this bow. Can you excuse me a minute? you know,
yeah, and it was still packed in our booth. It's not
yeah,
easy, but we kind of had like a little, like if somebody bought something, we had a little space behind where, we could take somebody back there and
okay,
have a
cool.
little hearing. So, they didn't feel like that. Had a little more, I guess, one-on-one action. But
Right,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. So
yeah,
you moved from there to now you're in Kansas, correct?
yep. My so I started hunting out in Kansas a long time ago. A customer came in and back then we didn't have any turkeys around where we grew up, and
No.
so a customer came in and he said that he and his I think brother just got back from Kansas on a turkey hunt, and anyway, I made connection there and called a guy and ended up coming out turkey hunting, and then it's just fell in love with Kansas and been coming ever since. Started out just the first few years was turkey, and then eventually got into deer as well.
Okay.
So then it's been now 10 years. 10 years ago, we moved from Indiana to Louisiana, and we were there for a couple years. And that was kind of a pit stop, and we knew that. Thought it was going to be more of a 5-year plan, and an opportunity showed up where we were able to do something in 2 years. So we've been in Kansas and been here for 8 years, and absolutely love it.
Yeah, it looks like you're having a lot of fun with a lot of pictures I've been seeing. You're posting a lot of information, so that was some of it's unreal. We'll see some of those here in just a little bit, but yeah, it's pretty impressive. So now, do you have any of those world record out there, state record out there? You got?
Yeah, actually, so last year, 22, I say last year, now it's 24, I guess.
I know
So
it's hard to
in
believe.
2022, I killed, normally I bow hunt, but I wasn't getting the right wind. It's kind of a long story. And grabbed my muzzle loader and went out and I shot this buck because he'd been trying on to the neighbors
Mm,
in daylight in the beans. And I thought, man, if he gets there on the weekend, there's a good chance they're going to kill him. So I just grabbed my muzzleloader and slipped in on a hillside and made it happen. But that deer ended up scoring 230 and 4/8 gross
mm,
score on the Buckmaster system, and he ended up ranking number 1 for Kansas muzzleloader. So he is the new state record for Kansas muzzleloader in the BTR Buckmaster system.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's my second buck that I've killed over 200 inches. And it's kind of the coveted, you know, mark that you really want to hit. And,
Right.
to
Yeah, I remember
carry a
that back.
200
Yeah.
inch deer, that's kind of like winning the Super Bowl if you're an NFL player. So, and
Yeah,
to do it
that's
twice is really special. So I've really been blessed.
so the deer out there are probably bigger than the ones around here, I'm assuming.
It's not that Indiana doesn't have the potential. They do, but the problem is out there, most people don't give them the opportunity to get to the age structure that they need to, and
Right.
that's really the biggest thing.
All right. Harvesting them
Indiana
too
has some
soon.
really big deer and potential of producing a lot more. If you compare Indiana to Illinois and look at it just the way it's laid out, it's almost a mirror image of one another. I mean, from the top to the bottom of the state and the way it's structured, it's almost the same. But Illinois always produces more big deer than Indiana, and they have forever. And it's because the way the management system is,
Right.
the rut doesn't come in as early, or the gun season, I'm sorry, and into the rut, and it gives them an opportunity to kind of get through some of that. Uh, Indiana's always been a real liberal gun state, and pretty much between firearm and muzzleloader, I mean, you pretty much have 6 weeks of firearm there, and it just doesn't give them much of a chance to get to the age structure. And then
Hmm.
not having that age structure also causes the person to think, if I don't kill it, the neighbor's going to. Where Illinois, there's a lot more mature bucks running around, so people are a little more patient. People in Indiana have gotten better, I believe, about that, and
Right.
there's definitely some that are serious trophy hunters. But there were a lot of deer that I passed in Indiana just trying to get to that age structure, and the neighbors would kill them or whatever, and it was a lot harder to get a 4-year-old plus buck hunt there in Indiana for me, and
Right.
where I
Yeah. That's something I didn't think about it, how you're talking about that they take away 'em too soon, and then they don't. It's just kind of like with fishing, you call out all these biggers, and it takes the genes out of that lake or whatever that you need. You know,
yep,
it's there's
yep.
there's a lot of truth to that. So I'm going to try to pull up this, see if this is the one that you were talking
And
about on the
not all mature deer are going to score 200 inches. So it's all about genetics and age
right.
structure.
Is this the big one?
Yeah, that's him. That is he gross scored 230 and 4/8,
It just
and
almost doesn't look real. Okay.
yeah, 23 scoreable points.
Wow. Yeah. The
And his
tines are
and his rack looks so white. I mean, somebody might think that it's a pin deer, but it's not a pin deer. I've got it all on video. I self-videoed everything. But he just came out of velvet like 2 days prior
okay.
to this, so he hadn't cut many trees.
Huh.
But yeah,
Yeah. Is that the same one or is that a different one?
yep, that's the same one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just wow. Yeah. If you've seen that, I don't. I don't know if I'd be shaking too much to even make the shot.
Yeah, something that's helped me with that is when I used to shoot tournament archery. Used to read a lot of books and watch videos, and I learned something called positive imagery. And basically, you think about what's going to happen prior to it happening, and it then becomes kind of subconscious in your actions.
Mm,
And it has helped me tremendously with target panic, buck fever. Um,
right.
Not that I don't get excited, but enables me to kind of control that better.
Well, that makes sense. Now, I mean, yeah, because it's like when you do fire a gun, you don't want to anticipate the trigger. You just squeeze until it goes off, and it almost you don't want to say not really scare you, but it startles you. Because if you
Yeah.
anticipate it, that's when you're going to flinch, and it's going to throw the
Yep.
trajectory right off. Probably same with the bow. Not quite as bad. I don't know. What I mean on that
No,
one, but
it's the same. You still want to
same.
float on your target. You still want to control your breathing, and you want to do things to help yourself. A super light bow, just like a super light gun, can move around
Right.
quite a bit more. But you can go with a lighter bow overall, but then put stabilization where you want it, so you can put the weight where you want it and help you overall accuracy.
Okay. Now is this him in velvet?
Yeah, so that deer right there, that picture, he's in velvet. I actually rode my quiet cat in, and I was tucked into the cornfield, and I was glassing these deer, and I had my Athlon spotting scope, and I had a Tacticam LR, and what it is, it's a camera that fits on the end of your spotting scope, and that's what I recorded these with. So I'm like way
Okay.
off in distance, but I
Okay.
recorded these, and I should have sent you another picture, but the other buck that's with him is actually this buck back here. I guess this way. This guy here.
Okay.
I killed him this year, 23 last year, I guess. Um, but yeah, both of those bucks are now in my house. So,
Yeah,
but
as I see
pretty
that one
awesome.
there. Yeah, the one on the left doesn't look small for just I see that one tine there in the picture. It looks pretty like it's gonna be
Yeah,
pretty decent.
yeah, yeah. He was actually was a 6 year old here, so he was 5 in that photo.
Okay. Now, do
But
they have to
yeah,
be a certain age to get the racks that size, or
no, not necessarily. Generally speaking, free range deer, you don't really want to shoot them until they're 5 or target them until they're 5 because that's when they really start to get their full potential. But uh, sometimes, um, things just align. And
right.
honestly, that buck that you're seeing right there, that I killed in 22, actually was only a 4 year old. And I
Wow.
had no intentions of killing him the year prior. He wasn't on my radar at all. Um, it's amazing how much antler he put on in 1 year, and it's almost 80 inches of antler. And that's, I've never personally seen that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But he was pounding. I have Whitetail Institute 30-06 mineral. And that deer, of all my bucks, that deer consistently hit that.
Mm,
And I mean, I'm not saying that's the only thing. You still have to have genetics, but
right.
he sure hit it a lot. And I'm saying it had to help some, especially as a 4 year old to score 230.
He's got the right nutrients or something to help grow that too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's 6, and he didn't score that high. He was 172 and 3/8.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
likely, 5, 6, 7. That's kind of their peak. And it can vary, but they might be the largest rack at 5, or it might be 6, or it might be 7. It just varies in there, but that's the target area you really want to shoot for
Okay.
on a mature deer. But when you have a 230 running around, and everybody around there wants to kill him, and he's daylighting on the neighbor's property, you don't risk that. That's kind of one of them. If I had 2 square miles, I'd have let
Hmm.
that deer go another year just to see what he would do. Now,
Yeah.
somebody's think I'm a fool or lying, but I'm telling you, um, if I had that, knowing that he was 4 years old, I would have let him go, because that deer could have, who knows what he could have done. And maybe he would have downsized. Generally speaking, when they go from 4 to 5, if they don't have, an incident where they hurt themselves or whatever, they generally go bigger, one form or another, mass,
Right.
length, main beam length, whatever. But yeah,
Wow. I can't imagine that being much bigger. That'd be crazy. Be in the elk category.
it would be crazy, but believe it or not, there's some out there that are, over 300 inches now, typical.
Mm. And this is all private
And
property, right?
yes, but
Yeah.
it's all small acreage. I mean,
Okay.
I've got a few properties, but the largest property I got's only 120 acres. And there's neighbors that are hunting right next to them, and sometimes
Right.
it's pretty pressured.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if it's a shame that he even lasted that long. I mean, it's sad to say, but somebody's seen him around there.
Yeah, the good thing is he wasn't that impressive last year as a 3 year
Mm.
old. Still a nice buck, and
Right.
you know I wouldn't want to see him running around where I used to hunt in Indiana, because I'm sure a lot of people would have been
Oh,
throwing lead at him. But
yeah, it'd been bad. That would have been very bad.
yeah.
What's the seasons out there? How do they go down there for like bow and gun and all that?
Um. So the first part is youth season comes in early September,
Okay.
and then generally speaking, I think it's early muzzleloader slash archery is like September 11th, 12th, something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. And archery continues on until um, you can kill a buck till December 31st, but that muzzleloader season only lasts for like 10 days.
Okay. Kind of similar to here with the of course the bow. I mean, I haven't hunted in a long time, but I could always come in like the 1st of October, and then it never. I remember back when I was real young, it would always stop when shotgun season came in, but I don't think it even stops anymore. I think it just goes straight through.
Yeah. Now, if in all honesty, if we didn't have, that's the only thing I wish they would change here is that early muzzleloader. I mean, granted, I benefited from it, but in all reality, if we didn't have that, I wouldn't have shot this deer with a muzzleloader. I'd have waited with a bow
Right. How far out
because I
was it?
already set up on him, and the problem was I wasn't getting the wind that I needed right away. I would have just went in with my bow. I mean, I
Mm.
killed him at like 35 yards. I
Oh, was
didn't
that
realize I
close?
was going to be
Yeah.
able to get that close, but
Right.
yeah,
That was my
yeah.
next
And I
question,
was
how
up
far
on
out
it.
was.
I was up
Yeah.
on a hillside. And I was kind of the wind. I was situated just so the wind would be perfect for me, and hoping that he wouldn't catch it. And then I had my ozonics also shooting, and then I had what's called raw calming scent, which is basically you just smell like a deer. So that
Mm.
combination that I use all the time, if it would swirl or if whatever, it just helped give me confidence to go in there on that. So I literally grabbed my muzzleloader. I kind of knew how that terrain was. I knew how the wind was supposed to be. And also, topography can affect wind currents and how things move. So as I rode my quiet cat in, I went in there with the chair and my camera here, and I just kept checking the wind and watching it. And when I felt like it was good and I was in a good spot, I just picked right next to a tree, settled in, and got all my camera gear ready and killed him the first night in, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That doesn't
It,
happen very often, like that, but it was
right.
textbook.
Especially one of that caliber, and it's like, it's like it's elusive or something, you only
Yeah,
see him every once in a while, never see it again. So yeah, that's
yeah.
pretty impressive. Now you have your boys both, do they both hunt as well?
Uh, so 2016, when we moved out here, my entire family killed with. I killed with a compound. They all killed with a crossbow, and that was pretty
Okay.
awesome.
Mm. Right.
But the boys aren't really into it. They turkey hunted more, and um, Ben went out. Um, I think he only went out one time this year, but neither one's like really into it like me.
Right.
But Sherry she was never into it before until we moved out here, and
That's why I was kind of
well,
shocked when
I
I first
take
saw her
that
there.
back. Yeah, she's went with me a couple times, but while we were in Indiana, but she wasn't serious about it. But
Right.
she's moved out here. She's killed turkey. She's killed 3 bucks. She's passed a lot of bucks that a lot of guys I know would have killed.
Right.
So and she thinks she needs to shoot the biggest buck now. And I said, I don't know about that, but uh, but we'll
Well, she's
see.
got a good mentor being selective like that. Because if she just started on her own, yeah, I probably would have. She probably missed out on some bigger bucks because like you said, some people that really just get into it don't have anybody to really talk to. Like you said, shoot kind of the first thing that comes through. You know,
Yeah,
button bucks and
yeah,
everything else.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that's pretty cool. I was kind of. I mean, it's kind of neat to see. I was like, wow, Sherry's something now. That's pretty wild. So I'm glad. It looks like
yeah.
she's having a good time now.
Yeah, it's fun, and she knows that. I mean, that this is all I do. I don't really drink. I don't smoke. I don't go
Right.
anywhere. I just pretty much hunting all year. Even the sporting. I was a little bit late for this because I went
Hmm.
out and put some mineral out and put some protein feed in a feeder. So just trying
Okay.
to. I've got a good buck that's staging, and I'm trying to keep him there, trying to keep him safe, and give him as much nutrition as I possibly can on top of the food plots I've got and everything. So
Right.
it's
Is
just never ending. If you're serious about it, you want to shoot big mature deer and you want to get them as good as they can. You got to let them grow up. You got to keep pressure off of them and
Yeah,
hunt when.
management's key in the sport, whether you're hunting or fishing. Because, like you said, if you just go out and just start taking everything, you know,
Yeah,
there's not an infinite number of deer and fish out there. If you keep doing that, it's going to pay a toll and it's going to take a hard hit. Because I think more and more people are getting involved in things like that, so it'll take a
yeah.
hit. It really will. So it's good
Now
that
there's a
you're
lot
doing
to it.
that.
I can assure you, it's not just luck. I mean, to consistently shoot big deer, like
I guarantee that when I hunt, I know if I saw a deer, I was lucky.
yeah, yeah. But
No, that's
that's
definitely
this is all I do. I mean, I really don't.
right.
I work and spend time with family and do this. That's it. But
Yep.
it's been my passion ever since I was young, and I've always wanted to shoot big deer. And that's one reason I'm out here in Kansas, because I wanted to do it consistently. And I just didn't feel like where we lived, I had that opportunity.
Right. Yeah, because you kind management to them is probably kind of a year-round thing. It's not just a hunting season thing. It's pretty year-round, right?
Yeah. Yep. The first 200-inch deer I shot in 2018, that was off our own property that we bought, and
Mm.
people say, well, it must be nice. But, I grew up poor. I grew up in a house trailer with a single parent. We didn't have much money, ate a lot of TV dinners and, cheap
Right.
stuff. I put myself through college and, worked hard to get what I got. And we bought our own property, and I started doing things to the property to make it where, those deer wanted to stay on there. And we bought it in 2016 and 2018. 2017, I passed this buck, and it would have been the biggest buck for me to date. He was probably a
Mm.
175-inch 4-year-old that I called
Wow.
Pinhead because he had stickers and drop time, just tines everywhere, and remind me of the Pinhead character. So I knew he had great potential because I saw what he did from 3.5 to 4.5. And I'm like, man, there's a good chance he could get to 5.5, and really just had low impact in there, low pressure, and um, ended up killing him on my own personal property. It was my first buck. He was 209 inches, had a 9.25-inch drop tine. And the drop
Mm.
tine switched on when 2017, it was on the right side, 2018, it was on the left side. Crazy, but
Yeah, that's kinda
uh,
weird, isn't it? I
yeah,
mean,
yep.
that's kind does
But
I mean, does that happen a lot? I mean,
no, and you don't get that many with drop tines even.
right, right. And I kinda like this picture too. That's obviously the same buck there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yep. That or the
Yeah,
the second one. That's the 230. So I learned another valuable lesson when I owned my archery shop, and I killed fairly consistent mature deer in Indiana, probably as much as anybody. And unfortunately, some people get jealous around that. And I've had some interactions that people just talk stuff and they shouldn't, but they do. And
mm,
so anyway, I learned to when you do good things like that, somebody's going to say, well, you done this wrong, or I heard he shot it over this, or he did this.
hmm,
So anyway, I called the game warden myself and had him come out. And at first they were like, why is this guy calling us? And there were two of them that came out. And man, I think they thought I was trying to pull one over on them by calling them, because they're not used to that.
right,
And anyway, and they went through and did a very thorough investigation, and they treated me like a criminal almost until the very end,
mm,
when they really were convinced that everything was legit. They saw everything, and then you can see he's smiling after that. So it
right,
was, we were friends after that. But I'm glad that they did. I'm glad they did their work. And that's the reason I wanted to do it, is because I wanted people to know that it was legit. So if somebody
right.
came and said something, there was proof there. It's all been investigated.
Yeah, put an end to all them lies and rumors going around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I
It's
wonder if
sad you
that
have to do that, but unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I mean,
now do you know, like, if a world record or a state record where it's broken, is that something that the DNR that do they go out and prove that it's legit, or is that something they just take people's word for once it's checked in?
I think it probably
Mm.
depends. I think if rumors start, they'll start investigating a little bit. But I mean, if it's the new world record, I'd say somebody's probably digging in a little bit. But
Yeah, yeah, how they
I'd
got it,
say
where
if
they
you
got it.
shoot something really big, you're better off to, get somebody in there, some game warden, and have them help you out just to be sure.
Yeah. Shame you gotta do that nowadays, but you know how people are. They thrive in the negativity and they don't wanna they don't wanna see no matter what you're doing, they don't wanna see people's successes for some reason. Oh,
Right.
they're only doing it because they got know so and so or their mom is rich, or whatever. That's you hear that all the time. It's just nobody
Yeah.
wants success. They want the bad stuff, and I don't get that. There's too much of that
Yeah.
out there. I like to hear the good things. So
Yeah, they want it without the hard work. And the thing is, like, I
right,
mean, I've had even some teammates, that showed jealousy, and it's like we're on the same team. Like I
right,
don't even care if I'm not even on the same team. Like somebody shoots something, that's what I enjoy. I'm going to be happy
right,
for them. If somebody gets a
right.
new truck and it's better than my truck, I'm going to be happy for them.
Congrats, yeah, kudos,
Uh,
yeah, nice,
yeah,
It's like the
it's
kayak tournaments, I just kinda didn't do real well in my first year round of them, but I hold no grudge. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, "Wow, man, that's pretty awesome." You found them. I sure did. It's like you gotta, just good
yeah,
sportsmanship and being a human being.
that's right. And why not learn from them, and push yourself
Exactly,
to be better. I mean,
exactly,
instead of
because they,
talking down on somebody. But
right, exactly. And then this is one of Sherry's, I'm assuming.
yeah, this is a 7-year-old buck.
Yeah,
Um,
that's pretty nice rack too.
Yeah, she killed him over a decoy, and that's her first buck killed over a decoy. And she's had bucks into the decoys, but it's the first fully
Okay,
mature buck that she had an opportunity at. And the video is unreal. It's unbelievable. It's probably the best laid down content. He got right in front of it and worked a scrape in the grass, and I'm telling you, that scrape was probably 3 foot by 3 foot. I mean, he
wow.
had mud just flying and dirt flying, and then he was coming up on it, and she put a great shot on him, and it was incredible. And then to just share that with her was, remarkable
Right.
too.
Yeah,
And
that's just it too.
so
Yeah.
that, and she killed that in 22. So she killed
We had a
her
good
best
year.
buck. Yeah, it's best year ever. And then we went to and that deer scored 166 and 5/8. I
Mm,
mean, for
okay.
such a tight rack, he scored really high because of the mass
Right.
and everything. And then we went to that same year. We went to Cabo San Lucas at the end of the year, and I caught a marlin, and that's
I don't is this it here?
yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And
What timing, huh?
yeah, that was perfect. Yeah. So I mean, I've always wanted to catch a marlin. I've caught sailfish
Right.
before, but and that was a really good marlin too. Like
Yeah.
they were hyped up. So I mean, you can tell. Look at the girth on that thing. He was heavy.
And how long a fight was that?
Uh, it was 45 minutes, and
Wow.
yeah, it was 45 minutes of hard fighting. I'm not in the condition for that. I was kind
Gotcha.
of one and done on that. Really, I was wore out.
Yeah, he's like, "Okay, yeah. Can you please just come in already?"
Yeah, I mean, I was holding on with one hand and shaking my other arm, and
Yeah.
it was
Hands
a bad
going
deal. But
numb.
but
Yeah.
man, talk about remarkable. I mean, just beautiful area, and being able to catch that, and um, it was awesome. But 22 was definitely my year for sure, and Sherry's.
Yeah. That puts my biggest fish I ever caught was a 36-pound king salmon. That puts that to shame. That was in Alaska, and I thought that was big.
Yeah, that's still going to be a heck of a fish.
Yeah, we caught a couple that day. I caught 2 big ones and then I caught 1, but it came off, and of course, you always say, "Well, it looked bigger than the others," but I really think it was bigger than the other ones I caught 'cause I got fairly close, but it just finally broke the line. I guess my line was I probably should have retired on after catching that second one, but I didn't. That's probably what bit me. But,
Yeah,
it was a heck of a fight.
yeah, those king salmon are awesome. I've caught some up in Coos Bay, Oregon. There's
Okay. This is all up in
nothing that
Alaska.
big.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
all up there in
nothing as big
Alaska
as
when I was there.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
My biggest
Yeah,
bass
and
is 8
catching this fish, 40 minutes of it, I was just standing and had just a cushion on the rod.
mm,
But the last 5 minutes, he put me in the chair. Matter of fact, you can see the cushions in there, yellow and blue. And
okay. These right here.
yeah, so you're fighting him without any real assistance, and that just keeps
Mm,
you from getting a bruise, essentially. But then the last 5 minutes, I got in the chair, and that made it a lot easier. It helped because I was pretty
yeah.
worn out.
I would be too. That's a heck of a fish. See what else we
Yeah.
got here. There you're on the cover of Whitetail News. I thought that was really darn cool.
Yep. Yep. I've been on three covers now. Two of them were the big uh, cover story, that one, and then Buckmasters.
Okay.
Um, and then I've in North American Whitetail, I wrote my own story.
Okay.
So it was
I
first
remember
person.
that magazine real well. That one and Buckmasters both. Yeah, I remember those.
Yep. And then there was another one I was in too with my uh, 209-inch buck pinhead.
Okay. Not
But
sure what all
yep,
we got on here, but
that's my dog King, and he found those sheds. He's a shed dog. He's actually trained. Uh, he came from a place called Antler Dogs in Missouri,
okay.
and we bought him there. And he was intermediately trained, and then I've taken him and just continued to work with him. And
Almost didn't see
he's
him there, but that's why I passed. I go, wait, is he seeing the same picture? I'm not seeing the dog. There it is. It's camouflaged in there.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's awesome. And then that those sheds are actually this guy the year prior.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Is that what you use the truck in there to scout and stuff, or
Yeah, if I'm covering like large areas, I'll
yeah?
get on that because he'll run and I'll just cover it with the
Mm,
quiet cat. And then like if we get into thick stuff, I'll just park it and walk through the thick stuff. But yeah, you can cover a lot more ground with a quiet cat.
yeah, I bet. Was that
Have you
electric
ever
bike or
read?
just this pedal?
No, it's electric.
Okay,
And
that's what I
it
thought. Looked like it did. Yeah.
Yep. You can pedal and it'll do pedal assist, or if you don't want to
Okay.
pedal at all, it'll just
They'll do
throttle.
everything for you, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So we got next here.
That's this guy. That's the one. So he went from a typical 5x5 to a 6x7.
Thick.
Yeah, heavy. That
Yeah.
and I really underjudged that deer. You can't really tell in this picture, but that I can assure you is the biggest body deer that I've ever killed. And I didn't get to weigh him because he fell down a cliff. It's about 40
Mm,
foot. You can kind of see that embankment at my back in the photo. But
okay.
that deer was huge, and
Yeah, it
uh,
looks thick. I mean, look at the neck
the
on it.
yeah, the biggest I've ever that I've actually weighed dressed was 224 pounds, and I can assure you, this deer
Mm,
dressed would have been probably 60, 265. I mean, he was heavy.
wow. You got the bike camoed out there.
Yeah, I got a newer bike,
Okay.
but yeah, that's him again. That angle, I was so I we had to quarter him up. That's why it's just his head right there. I had to quarter him up to take him out of there, so I didn't really get good photos. Um, so that was kind of the morning after, and and then those are the sheds there that King found earlier in the year.
Mm, more promising sign of that finding those things.
Yeah, and that's my 230, and I call him Tiny Tim. There's a long story behind that, but
Mm,
the
yeah,
that
yeah.
deer he's set up. We build it to where I can. He's got one of those plug-ins, and I'll tell Alexa to turn Tiny Tim on, and he'll start spinning, just rotating.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty
That's
cool.
I don't think I've ever seen a mount like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah, and
You
then
see
that
Buckmasters in the
behind him
background.
is the Buckmaster cover story spread.
And that was for this one here.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Pretty darn
Yep.
cool there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty neat. That mounts that they did a good job with that to be able to do all that with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Another picture of him. Yeah, you can tell it's close to the velvet with the hair right there, like on the or whatever you.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's hardly any cut off. You can see it kind of sticks over his
Yeah.
bases. That's where we took him down and had him officially scored for Buckmasters. They wanted it
Oh,
scored for the story.
right. There
Well,
you
I
go.
may never actually had him officially scored. I don't really do that anymore. I know how to score them, and
Yeah.
I just don't normally care to put them in books or anything. I put one in Pope and Young and one in Long Hunter before, but that's it. But this was kind of special. So, and then just a cool moment, and so we had to get a photo together.
Now, was you ever a check-in station when you had the Hunter's Haven or no?
Nope, never
Okay.
was.
And then there's a better picture of the Buckmaster article there.
Yeah,
Well, you
it
know you
looks a
made
lot
it pretty.
better in person.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, sometimes pictures don't do things justice. Like even I'm sure even the deer, the pictures probably aren't doing it justice when you actually see it and can
Yeah, yeah. The
get right in front
lighting
of you.
just isn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
Mm. Well, you know you
I
made
mean,
it pretty big when you're in these magazines, though. You done pretty good. So
it's really hard to get on the cover of Buckmasters. I mean, they don't even like to do dead deer. They like to put live deer on them. So to be able to do that is really a special moment to me.
yeah, that's
And I've
pretty
been a
cool.
lifetime member of Buckmasters since I was 20 or 21. I can't remember exactly
Mm.
when, but I really couldn't afford it. But I was excited, and this is kind of a funny story. You're gonna think I'm crazy,
Yeah,
but when I was young and dumb at the time, of course, I don't know if I'm any smarter, but I had to, when they called me, it's a telemarketer, but when they called me, I'm like, oh, Buckmasters is calling me. Well, man, I must have killed enough bucks. They're thinking, this guy's good. Invite me as a member. Well,
right.
it was about the money aspect, but it was still awesome. And I ended up getting a jacket. I have no idea what happened to the jacket, but I still get the magazines for free. But all those years later, to be on the cover, I would have never believed that when I was young. But pretty
Right.
cool.
I mean it's a big thing. I'm sorry, it really is.
Yeah.
I think it is. So
Yeah. I mean, it really is equivalent to like, winning the Super Bowl. If you shoot a buck that's over 200 inches, uh, and then and then I've done it twice, and then I've self videoed both of them too. One with a bow, one with a muzzleloader, and then being on the cover stories, Buckmasters and Whitetail News. I mean, that's all pretty awesome.
yeah, that is pretty cool. Yeah, this here I wanna this I wanna ask you about this one too. I thought this was kinda interesting. Let me pull this one up too. Is that a bobcat?
Yes, sir.
Not that was. I don't know there was a hunting season for those.
Yeah, yeah. You got to have a trapping license here in the state of
Okay.
Kansas, but yeah, you
Okay.
can trap them or you can shoot them. But I shot him with my bow.
Yeah. I saw that and I
I
said,
could have
huh.
I could have killed a couple since then, but I elected not to.
Right.
But I at least I can say I got one, and I actually got it mounted. It's pretty cool in the house.
Yeah. I didn't know there's that many around here. I don't think there's that many around here, I don't think. But I don't
Yeah,
think I've
they're
ever
definitely
seen one out in the
probably
wild. Yeah.
yeah.
And of course here's a different that's a different buck there. That's not
Yeah,
the three. That's
that was 2017. I killed that deer over a decoy. Pretty remarkable footage on that too. I was with a different show called White Knuckle Productions back then.
okay. Was it all on camera then? All filmed, I guess?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I had him
Yeah.
snort wheezing at him and had him hooking corn stalks. There was a pit cornfield, had coming into my decoy, but he wouldn't commit to the decoy, so I finally just shot him, and
Right.
but it definitely pulled him in.
That's
But
pretty so you've
the
been pretty
video,
fortunate. Yeah, you've been pretty fortunate. A lot of I mean, that's the numbers, sheer number of deer you've seen and got and the ones
yeah,
you've been able to harvest. It's been pretty amazing.
mhm.
And then there's King
Yeah, that's when he was a baby. That's when we first got him.
doing the antler gathering. And there's another one with Sherry. Is that one she got too?
That's her first buck. Yep.
Okay. That's a nice
Yep.
first buck.
Yeah, that was 2016.
Okay.
She made a heck of a hit on him. He didn't go far.
That's the first year out there then, huh?
Yep. That was the first year.
Yeah.
That's head. See that
There's a
drop time?
yeah, that thing's huge.
Yeah, he's got just a huge frame. That deer was awesome. And to kill him on my own property was amazing.
Yeah, that makes it even better because 'cause you're not on a public land or somebody else's, it's on your property. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and it's what I've done to keep him there. I mean, he
right.
felt comfortable there,
That is a
and
product of your doing and so to speak, in a way.
yeah, worked hard, bought my own land. There's only 42 acres. He could have went anywhere. There's neighbors all around that want to hunt, or that do hunt. It would have killed him.
Right,
But yeah, it was pretty awesome to be able to do that. And then, pass him on video the year prior and then kill him on video. And
right.
the show was freaking him off. It was just, that was the pinnacle of my bow hunting career, no doubt about it. And I really don't put the 230 ahead of him. I think they're
Oh,
both
really? Okay.
equal to me personally, even though the other one scores more and is the state record. It's just the other one being on my own property and with the bow really just, yeah, they're both awesome.
Kinda means more to you, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then this is a buddy of mine, Tom. And the reason I sent you that is so King not only finds sheds, but he will find deer too. And he's
Oh,
not been trained to track blood, but he will smell the antlers. And it is amazing to see him do it. But he has found three different bucks now.
hmm. Yeah, that's weird how they can, smell antlers. I didn't think antlers smelled like anything, but I guess they do.
Yeah, and they're not that strong. So I was kind of surprised he hadn't really been trained on that. And I
Right.
have a hard time thinking that. But like this deer, he got downwind of that and just took off. And I'm like, and we really thought the buck was going to go one direction, and then King split off and went another way. And I'm like, that's unusual. He doesn't do that, so he's got to be on something. And we went up, and sure enough, there he was, right with the buck. It was just incredible.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. Better hunter than I
Yeah,
am.
me too. So the reason I say this is I thought people might want to see. Look at the difference from
Okay, yeah,
three
this is
to
wow.
4 to 5.
And I see the drop time talking about how it's on the left side on the one and the right different side on the other time. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
interesting.
And that right there is a showcase of why you want to let them walk.
Yeah. I mean, because even like you said, 3 looks really nice, and then 4 looks very good, and 5 looks surreal. Yeah.
Yes.
That's actually a real cool picture. I wanna make sure I did get that one up because I like that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. 2 years difference really, that and it gets to be like that to that.
Yeah. I don't think, a lot of people really understand what they do. And it's not that all of them are going to do that. Obviously, you
Right.
have to have the genetics and I put food plots in and had minerals and did supplemental feeding. So there's a lot
Uh,
more to it to give them a stress-free area. I don't invade. There's places that even on my small acreage, I just don't go in. The
right.
majority of the time. Just give them a safe haven, low impact, and give them all the nutrients that you can to be
Yeah,
the
that
best it can be. And if they've got the right genetics, they can sure be
yeah.
amazing. But
You put all those 3
even if
all
they
those
don't have
together.
those genetics, they're still gonna, if you do all that stuff, the more you do, the better they're gonna be. And if you let them
Right.
get to that 5 or 6 age, the potential is there to at least maximize their growth and be the best they can be.
Yeah, if you
Um,
get all the management and genetics together, that's a perfect storm for and this is prime example what you can do, for
yeah.
sure. That
Yeah,
is
and
pretty neat.
try to talk to your neighbors too, and try to get them on the same
Yeah.
philosophy, and share pictures, and if you can get people on board with that, the better off you're going to be. And it's not always the case. The bad thing about Kansas is we can bait throughout season here, which in reality I wish we couldn't, because there's two properties that border mine that are only 8 acres apiece. One's I think
Mm.
7 and one's 8, and both of them bait deer. Well, if you weren't allowed to bait likelihood of them ever killing anything would be slim to none. But because you can, they can kill
Right.
something. So I really wish you couldn't bait, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, they have it here. But
Okay, I wasn't sure about that. I knew they didn't have it here in Indiana. I didn't know about was out there. Yeah.
well, but in Indiana, you can still put food plots in. You can still supplemental feed all the
Okay.
way up to like I think 10 or 14 days before you hunt an area, and you have to clean it all out. But
Even the
you can
plots?
still do things to help yourself.
Right. And there he is. He's getting famous here. There he is with some more antlers there.
Yeah, that's my buddy. Yeah, it's awesome to go out and just spend time with him. But then when you find some white gold on top of it, it's extra special.
Exactly. He's doing his job.
Yep,
And now we're getting to some of that turkey you were talking about.
yep, yep. Love the turkey hunt too, and normally have some buddies come out. And, we do a little turkey hunting. So that right there is, you notice he's hanging on that limb. So if you get an old bird, their spurs get longer, and that's what we call a limb hanger.
Okay.
So if you shoot an old bird, you can hang him on a limb like that.
Yeah, it looks
If they're a
big.
younger bird, they won't stay on the limb.
Yeah, it looks good size. And then going from turkey hunting to looks like a lot of
Yeah,
them walleyes.
that's walleye. That's up in
Hmm.
actual Lake Erie. I just sent you a picture
Okay.
of that. Just kind of all outdoors. Kind of do a little bit of
Yeah, that's
everything.
still fun. That's a lot of walleye. I fished Lake Erie before up there, and that was a lot of fun. Walleye up there. Some of the best eating
Yeah,
they get, I
it's
think.
a great old friend of mine, Bill Edmonds, and his son Nathan. Bill has since passed, unfortunately, but Nathan still charters up there, and it's
And
called
then
Walleye Wizard.
then we're back
And
to the
that's my first mule deer. Killed that in Montana.
okay. I didn't think that was a whitetail. It looked a little different. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're gonna go back to turkey here in a minute. There's another one. That's a nice one too.
Yeah, that's Sherry's second buck she killed there. And now that deer right there was very old. And if it if she today, I wouldn't let her shoot that unless she just shot it without me or pushed me out of the way. But I would try to get her to pass that because that deer
Right.
was only a 3 year old and had super genetics. If he would have
Mm.
made it another year, that thing would have been unbelievable. I mean, it's still a
Yeah.
great bug. She was still
Right.
excited. And that's why I let her shoot it. But the potential there, what it would have, and she's learned that.
That's good. Yeah, but when you're in the moment, you think, "Oh man, I really want to pass that up," But like you said,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to think ahead. Maybe, well, there's always next year.
And it'd be
But
different if it wasn't her second buck. But
right,
same token, I mean, you can have fun too. But as time goes on, if you know their age, you can kind of learn and past just bettering you. And a lot of people say, well, if I don't shoot him, my neighbor's going to. But I can assure you, your neighbor's not going to kill them all. And the chances
right,
if you pass them, you're gonna reap the rewards at some point.
right. There's another.
That's Yeah, that's a sailfish we caught down in Miami a
Okay,
few years ago. We caught actually that day we caught 5 out of 6 sails. It was on fire.
yeah, that's just
Saw
crazy.
flying fish. Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
Just kind of going through a little bit different things here.
Yeah. I don't elk hunt a whole lot. I've killed a few, killed a couple bulls and killed one cow. I think I've only been like 5 times, but
And where was this one
but
at?
this was New Mexico. I've
Okay,
killed one in Colorado, and then I killed the cow up in Wyoming. Um, I'd like to go more, but it's just so expensive, and I spend so much time on whitetail. It's kind of hard to
right.
get away and do that. But
And you're doing very well there, so yeah, I can understand that. Wanting to stick to that.
yep. And I've killed wild boar. I've killed 2 bull caribou with my bow. I've killed 3 black bear. I've kind of killed a lot of stuff over the years.
Yeah, I've never done any bear hunting or anything, so
Yep.
never did do that. Just a couple of quick questions here, I think, before we leave. What bows are you using now, equipment wise? I knew you was always a big Matthews fan. I didn't know if you're still using those or.
I honestly haven't shot a Matthews in years, a long
Okay.
time. Probably, honestly, probably 14 years since I've shot a
Wow.
Matthews.
Okay.
I'd say the majority of my career, my first compound bow was a Hoyt Game Getter 2.
Okay.
Overall, I've shot probably more Hoyt than anything. Um, this shot Elite. I'm shooting Elite now, and I've shot Elite off and on the past few
Okay.
years. Um, so I'd say in the last 10 years, it's either been Elite or Hoyt, one of
Okay.
the two. Um, right now, I'm shooting Elite's Carbon Era. It is a carbon bow. It's warm to touch. But what I like about it is it has a really good valley. So when you come to full draw, it just sits there. It's real easy to
Mm,
hold. It doesn't want to creep forward on you. It's smooth. It's quick, but it has 7.25 inches of brace height, which leads to forgiveness. It has pretty long riser length for the axle to axle. It's just an overall, to me personally, I think it's one of the
yeah.
best bow designs that's been out for a long time. It's easy to shoot. And I don't shoot as much as I used to. You know, I used to shoot tournament archery. I won the indoor state championship in the uh, men's open, I think freestyle or whatever they called it back then. It's been too long now,
Right.
but you know, I, I anyway, I think that I've lost my train of thought there for a minute. So again,
It happens. It happens.
I'm getting old. I'm getting
I
old,
hear that.
Chad.
I hear that. Same here. Same here.
Getting old and telling too many stories. Now I'm kind of getting crisscrossed a little bit,
Yeah,
but yeah,
you talk about the first bow. It cracks me up because I remember my very first one. You probably remember. It was so freaking heavy. The bear whitetail two, this big old long green, dark green
yeah.
camo looking bow. My gosh, that thing was so
They sold a
heavy.
lot of those. Yeah,
Huh?
they sold a
Yeah,
lot of those. Yeah,
yeah, man. Because well, Bear and Jennings, when I first started going, like, were probably the two biggest names at that time. I think it was the same
yeah,
company, I think, or close to it. I think.
yeah.
But
It was
yeah,
absolutely.
but I remember that thing. It was so heavy, and then when I got out, that was that little PSC I got. That little, I think it was a Firefly. I think it was a real small little, like a 33-inch bow or something real small. Which
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a big guy, so it's kind of nice too. It's light, and I was able to get up the tree with it real easy. So
yeah.
it's just kind of funny looking back now. But I remember that bow was so funny now.
Oh, things have changed a lot over the years for
Oh, I
sure.
bet I can imagine because I mean I got out, solo cams were big and things like that. You're thinking he's talking old technology now.
Yeah, yeah. There's no solo cams anymore. Even
Okay,
Matthews. It used to be called Matthews Solo Cam. They don't have
right.
a solo cam anymore. But yeah,
Okay,
it's just hard to be efficient and gain the speed and just the smoothness with one single cam. They've pretty much evolved, but
right.
lots of good bows out there.
Yeah, yeah. It was always fun shooting. I always thought getting to see how close you can get the groupings and stuff was pretty good.
Yeah.
Another question too about because this was always a debate when I was hunting up early, and they might go hand in hand. I don't know. What do you think's the most important trigger to the rut? You think it's the cold or the full moon or both?
Um, I think I think the moon phase mixed with the time of year and also the weather. If I was going to pick one thing that could affect it the most, though, I would almost say weather because
Okay.
the reason I say that is because everything else can line up. If it's real hot, they're going to move, but it's generally going to be at night. If you get a good cold front that comes in, and it's October 7th, October 8th, they're going to be moving good. They're going to be on
Right.
their feet. And to be honest, I'm not as much of a fan of the rut. I'm more
Right.
of a pre-rut guy. Here's
Right.
why: because they're not with does, and you can focus in on their core area where they're already kind of honed in at. And you can catch them, coming to scrapes, coming to food plots, checking the perimeters, looking for those hot does. They're callable at that time. Once they start getting locked onto does, it's kind of just a hard thing to really grasp when you're trying to target one specific deer. If you're just going out just to hunt and you're just going to pick a spot and you're going to look, then yeah, I mean, the good thing about the rut is, generally you can have whatever happen, but
Right.
me personally trying to target a specific deer, I would choose the pre-rut. And I would say my favorite time window is like October 25th to probably November 8th, 9th, something like that.
Okay. I always love hunting
That's
on Halloween. Yeah.
yeah, I love that time period. I mean,
Yeah.
now,
I was,
like these being we can hunt here in September, the good thing about that, like early on in September, where the leaves on the beans start to change and bucks start to separate a bunch, you can hammer them early because they're still on their summer feed pattern where they start to really shift.
okay.
And that's another something in Indiana I really didn't get much of because our season didn't come in till October. So generally speaking, I wouldn't even really when I was young, I hunted everything I could, but I learned not to put over time. Don't just hunt all the time. Be specific and go in when the wind's right. You got the right setup and slip in for the kill. And you're doing a lot less damage by instead of going in all the time and spooking a bunch of deer. And
Right.
you'll see less and less that way. So I'm more of a tactician, I think, when it comes to targeting specific deer and trying to pinpoint when to jump in. Everything's got to be right.
Right. Using all the scent shield and all that fancy stuff. I mean, you still have all that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, the really the biggest things. I don't use any kind of scent clothing. It's ozonics, which is the
Okay.
ozone. It produces basically ionized air that goes and it floats. You put it above your head and kind of angle down, so and points to where the wind's downwind. So what it does is it comes down and traps your scent molecules and neutralizes that. So it's harder for the game to
Mm.
detect it. Now, is it 100%? No, but I'm telling you, I've tested it before I ever used it. I tested it, and then I've been using it for years now. I've seen it work time and time again where I've had deer. It's not, you still want to use the wind. It's not just go hunt and do whatever. You still
Right.
want to use the wind and be smart about it. But if deer get downwind or the wind starts to swirl, it'll help kind of cover you. And another thing I use is that raw calming scent, and it just smells like deer. The first scent that kind of came out that was similar to that was, you remember Dan Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
It's called Deer Dander, and it's kind of similar to that.
Okay.
But so by having that combination, I've gotten away with a lot more, and I've been able to hunt questionable winds for me, which generally speaking, if it's better for the game, better for a mature buck, or his nose, he's going to feel more comfortable moving, and I've capitalized on that many times. If you don't have an ozonics, I strongly urge you to get one. It
Okay.
will definitely help you. And then that raw calming scent, that combination will help you with scent. But you still need to pay attention to the scent. You need to pay attention to how you slip in, slip out of your area and your stand. There's a lot of little things that you can learn from. But
Yeah. Yeah, I agree there. It's about getting in there good and quiet. I
yeah,
always like that getting out there at least a half hour before the sun would come up, just so you can be quiet and everything, and let everything kind of
yeah,
calm
and
down.
there's kind of a new fad. A lot of people are, saddle hunting or getting one light tree stand and going in and setting it up and doing a hang and hunt every time. And that's all fine. I always keep a system to where if I need to move in, like, I hunt an area and I see a buck cross and I need to be there like the next evening. I've got a set always ready so I can go and get up there. But me personally, I don't want to just move around like that. One, if you're hanging and hunting all the time, you're producing a lot more scent by, trimming lanes, sweating. I'd rather have multiple stands set up in different locations for
Right.
different winds so I can slip in, slip out, and be undetected. And I
That makes
personally think that's a better hunting philosophy than
Yeah, it makes
just,
more sense. Yeah, because moving around, like I said, you're making noise and, like you said, spreading scent and everything else. That's not doing any good for
yeah.
sure. So
And
that's definitely
the stand that I've used for over 20 years is called used to be called Lone Wolf stands. Now they're called Novix. They're still a Lone Wolf custom gear stand, but they're really expensive. I personally, I would choose a Novix. It's an aluminum stand, and like I said, I've had them for 20 years. They don't ever go bad. I mean,
mm,
I've thrown them on the ground from up in the tree. They just
mm,
are freaking tough as nails, and they last forever. I've never had one go bad. The only thing you do is just change the straps every so often.
okay.
Occasionally change the cables. Pretty cheap to do that, but it's an investment, and these stands last forever. And you can have a tree that is angled both directions. It doesn't matter. It's fully adjustable. It's
Okay.
pretty
Yeah.
locks on. It's quiet,
Yeah,
but
that was always thing trying to find the nearest tree that looked like a telephone pole,
yeah,
back in the
yeah,
day.
yeah. And these Kansas streets are a lot worse than Indiana because there's hardly anything straight here.
Oh, that's
But
pretty good.
and they're not cheap. I mean, they're not as expensive as some of them out there. But I what I did was years ago, I just started buying one or two a year, and then it just kept building up. And you get rid of all those steel China junk made stands that only last for a few years and then go bad.
Right, exactly. That's one thing too. You want to make sure you pay a little more, but if it's going to last, that's better than buying one that's not going to last. Keep having to buying one every year, every other year.
Yep, and it
That's
doesn't
that's
creak and crack on me, and
exactly. Or worry that's going to break while you're in the stand. That's always not
yeah,
good either. So,
yep, exactly.
all right. Well, it's been well over an hour. I appreciate that. I won't hold you any longer. Do you have any pages anybody can go to and
Yeah,
see any of your stuff?
I'm I'll probably be putting together some shows. I kind of went out on my own now. Just did that last August, so
Right.
I don't have anything YouTube set up yet, but I've got a lot of content, some previous shows that um, probably try to get out there. But currently, right now, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. Those are really the only two social media platforms now that I'm
Okay.
using. Um Thinking about utilizing TikTok, but they're saying
Yeah, I
that's
still don't
the
do that one
big.
yet. I'm not sure about it yet.
Yeah, I'm not either. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and I've heard negative things about it too. So
Yeah,
I don't. But
just so much social media. It's hard to keep track of it all. It really is. Okay,
yeah,
how did I unload that? Did I upload to this one? It just gets crazy after a while.
yeah. But I try to keep things going, like Instagram. I'm always putting stuff on there. I'm gonna try to do one thing I want to do this year is to help people. There's a lot of people out there, whether you just gun hunt, uh, whether you just shoot a gun, or whether you bow hunt. But I'm going to try to help maybe put some videos out there, short video clips to help people with target panic, help people,
That'd be good.
become a little more accurate, and things to help hunters. I'm going to do some little segments throughout the year just for some tips because at my age now, I've always kind of been that way, and I think that. Like I always want to take the time to make somebody as good as they can be, but I want to spend more time not just creating the shows, but trying to make people better hunters. And
And
just
and I
because I
yeah.
know I used to have target panic years ago, and I taught myself how to get out of it, and it was quite a task to do that. And if I can help others do that, it's so much more rewarding and enjoyable if you can do that. So
And yeah, and I think a lot of the things I see out there is pretty much like you said. It's just a tape of a hunt, which is fun and neat to watch and exciting. But yeah, but if you don't have those skills going out there, you're really handicapping yourself.
yeah,
Like
and for
you,
a young hunter, I might be able to shed light on a few things here and there that can help them pick up, a few things and maybe progress
yeah,
a lot faster than they would have on their own.
just like we talked about on that at the beginning with the little bitty, wasn't even a quarter of an inch adjustment on that bow, just made a world of a difference. Who would have thought? That's not nothing. You know.
Yeah,
It's just
Yeah,
amazing
it
how
makes a
yeah,
big difference. But that's the thing, a lot of people aren't aware of that, and you know, but hopefully I can shed some light on that. So I mean,
yeah,
if anybody hears this and they follow me on Instagram and Facebook, I can assure you
okay,
that you're going to pick up on some stuff because I'll be putting more on there. And even
that's
right
real
now, I've
good.
got tons of content you can go back and look at now. I mean,
The
a
better you're
lot of
prepared, the better you're gonna be out there, you know?
that's right, that's right.
So, because it takes you said it takes some time, because you wanna be confident. If you go out there and learn all you can about deer behavior and everything like that, and then you get out there and you don't really know how to use your equipment right, you're gonna think, "Uh-oh, am I gonna be able to hit?" You wanna have a little confidence, I guess, what I'm saying, going out
Yeah,
there, that you can do what you need to do, to do
it's the
it.
full spectrum. Even if you
Yep.
can't in a food plot, you can do supplemental feeding. You can put
Yeah.
mineral out. You might have to dig it up, but there's little things that you can do to help yourself. I can assure you, and I've been there, done that on a lot of different aspects, so I'm sure I can help some of the listeners out
Right.
there kind of key in on some of that stuff. And if anybody, follows me, if they send me a message, I try to reply to everyone. So
Okay. Well, like I said, yeah, when you get that channel up and running, let me know. We'll link that out too, and I'll go ahead and put if you don't mind, if I can put the Instagram and all that link out there too, if you don't
yeah,
mind. People can
absolutely.
get a hold of you, touch
Yeah,
base with you, ask
absolutely. Because I
questions.
know sometimes it's hard to find who's the right person. So,
Right.
and on Facebook, my dad's Donnie Monroe too. So don't confuse us on the same thing
Yeah.
because
He's like,
yeah,
who's all these people asking questions?
he's not a hunter. Yeah,
You're right. Oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate it. And hope, like I said, the hope of this New Year's is it's like you had a good couple years. So hopefully this one coming up here will be just as well good for you. So sound like you're on
yeah.
the
I
right
got
track.
another one that's should be a dandy if he made it through the year and he's really dominating that area. So I plan on doing everything I can to give him everything he needs and to keep the pressure low. So, and there's some other stuff we've got in the works that's coming up that will be really good too. But I don't want to say too much about that yet. But
Right. No, nope. I understand. I absolutely
yeah,
understand. So, all right. Well, thanks again. I appreciate it for coming on. Appreciate your time, and always we'll have you on again. And just enjoy it and wish you the best again this year. And tell Sherry and the boys, everybody, said hi and hope they're doing well and have a good year as well.
we'll do. Well, thanks, Dad. I appreciate it, bud. Good
You bet.
talking to you.
You too. It's good talking to you again. I'll talk to you later.
All
All right.
right. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Donnie Monroe. Some trophy buck hunting talk, a little bit of fishing and turkey and stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. It was very informative. We went for a lot longer than I thought, which was good, but we had a lot of good stuff to talk about. He had a lot of good stories to tell. Very knowledgeable about hunting. He's probably the one of the most knowledgeable people that I personally know. When I've always had questions and asked about it, so I really do appreciate him coming on. Thanks, Donnie, for that. We'll have him on again, and hope you all enjoyed that show. And we'll have another episode coming pretty soon for another show. Until then, have a great day and have a good New Year's.